Welcome back, part two. Part two. Of course, as soon as I start talking about YouTube, I'm doing something right. If I didn't do something right, they wouldn't be cutting me off, would they? That is just way too funny. Way too funny. But anyway, part two, let's look into it. A little bit more direct disclosure. So I'm going to keep talking about direct disclosure. So when YouTube can no longer do what they just did, cut you off, because it's going to become illegal for them to do so. Once we return to the law of the land, and this is why the military has to step in to restore the law of the land. Welcome back, you guys. So according to law of the land, and once still buffering. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Okay. Okay. Ramus, can you hear me okay? Okay, Teresa, you good then. Okay, okay, refresh it. Maybe it's buffering for you only. So I want to talk a little bit more about direct disclosure. So when that's going to become possible, it's going to be, like I mentioned last time, it's going to be, there is no big enough bag to keep this cat in. It's already out of the bag and it's like there's nothing you can do. So there is the predatory consciousness is becoming very visible, but of course, those people that are stuck in it and they live on only, and this is why for all this 9 years I've been talking about, um, all right, okay. So for 9 years I've been talking about, you know, healing yourself to the point to where, to where nothing can knock you off your center. Because eventually will come to the point where the fake it until you make it crowd, they will sort of they will almost, it's like a suicide mission, to be honest with you. So many people on a spiritual suicide mission, to be honest with you, because once they go and do this oath, spiritual oath, and when they surrender their soul, and like I said, I mean, Masons, it's just the first initiation is surrendering your soul completely, completely. Surrender all of your willpower to three freaking stooges in robes. Um, and then, and just the, just to tell you, there's over 6 million Masons. That's not counting Eastern Stars and all other subgroups, because there's so many subgroups. But it's one club, one club, okay? There's nothing, one club. And just like media, three companies in the top. BlackRock, what else? So there's three or five, I don't remember exactly, but just very few with the whole media. So once we get through that, which I talk about purging, right? Media purge is what kind of I'm talking about, because I'm considering myself being more in media, but within the last 7 years or so, I dug into the lower level, which was the government in politics and justice system. Now the media is covering up for all of that. So now, like I mentioned, Ghislaine Maxwell trial, right? In 1992, there would be nobody would allow to even question that or say, hey, DOJ, are you accidentally on purpose forgot that it's crimes against children if you go ahead and put on a show of a um, trial and you tell the United States, and you announce to United States citizens that is trial, and she's being tried for crimes against children, but then you turn it into a circus show and make it a cover up for crimes against children that she committed, because it so happened that all of her clients are politicians and government officials, so they put on a cover up show. Now that cover up show is evidence for military law to step in. Do you understand how that can happen? That's the way the cleanup can happen. You have to get in there with the broom. So think of it like Ghislaine Maxwell trial is going to be a broom for military law to kind of take the justice system and kind of and everything under the rug as well, because um, justice systems got system of stealing children, unlawfully stealing children, systematically unlawful. This is the silent war in America on the most innocent, millions of innocent casualties. Since the CIA operating in 1952, more than 10 million of casualties of war, innocent children. Is that not big enough as Hitler? If the United States military can count more than 10 million of casualties of war, innocent children. I'm not talking about adults. I'm only talking children. Ever since CIA infiltrated United States, the silent war. And it's gonna all come to the surface. And so that's the third layer of exposure that's coming in the next 10 years, is the layer of intelligence agencies and all of that treasonous operations. So that's the last layer, so to speak, that we in America are going to see before we have that law of the land reestablished on this land. But it has to be, because this is used to be Lemuria. Okay. Part of it did actually drown, so it's underwater. So what they say close to uh Cuba, Bahamas, in there's pyramids, used to be part of Lemuria, not Atlantis. Atlantis is a little bit further on the other side, and it's all underwater. Atlantis was a big island. Okay. So this is why, because it's connected, this land is connected to Lemuria, Teresa. That's why you were called back to it. Um, this is why when I was 13, I was taken in sort of in my dream by my gypsy grandma, taken to America, and it was like showing things that why I need to be here in this time. And so that was very interesting. Sort of, I got to know my grandma in ethereal world. Let's just say, ooh, I had a lot of grandmas. Had a lot of grandmas. So anyway, you guys, I want to read a little bit about so that the human energy field. So it's the frequency or vibration of energy determines what type of matter. So this is, but then most of it, I want to talk a little bit after that. I talk about spiritual sort of center and how this 7 layers of your aura operate in our body, and what is that kind of, I mean, it's just in overview, then we can understand how our emotional body or our heart center, how it affects our heart center. Okay, so it's balancing your spiritual self with your so heavenly realms with the with your physical body. Okay, so um, you have energy inside your body as well as outside that surrounds you. This external energy, known as your aura, it is your energy field. So this, the 7 layers of your aura. First layer is etheric. Second is emotional. Third is mental. Fourth is astral. Fifth, etheric template. This is as within, so without. So this is has to do with your quantum blueprint and template. And then 6 is celestial. And then 7 is Ketheric template. This is the word cathars come from this. It's the 7th layer, what's Ketheric template. And this is what, again, has to do a lot with the quanta um, uh, measurement and quantum field. Okay? So Ketheric, cathars comes from that word. Okay? So life force. Yes, so it's the life force, right? And like I said, they said the human body is like it has so much energy, just as much as atomic bomb. So that's how we constantly emanate energy. And when I read about Walter's Kellner experiments with this glasses thing that he made, um, like, I mean, he just had so much uh, the energy. Watch how energy actually works in us and how it affects, especially like the emotions, right? And this is where that comes from, how that energy, what you put out and what you pull from within, right? And this is what like what is that guy, the Japanese guy scientist that did the water experiments, love and hate towards water, and then how molecular water would look differently. That's the same thing. You, in the same way, this is why I bring up so much of self-love, to developing self-love, how it is important for us to develop self-love, because it is your shield in this reality. It is unbreakable because it's stronger than unconditional love by 400 times. Masao Emoto, yes, Ramus. He did experiment again. This is your direct disclosure, or how we're a 70% water. So we program ourselves. There is scientists say that you can reprogram your DNA within 7 days. Fully. Your cell goes through full rebirth every 7 days. No, I'm sorry, 21 days. Sorry, the 7 days, something different. Every 21 days, your cell rebirth, 3 weeks, 7 days. Every 21 days, I think. Cell, and the same at the same time, you can totally reprogram your etheric field, or that etheric 97% DNA, invisible DNA. So that's basically what you programming with that love and hate through that power that you pull from within. So imagine how powerful an individual is, right, Teresa, for that projection of love and projection of hate to have such a powerful effect on the cellular level of water. And water is the multidimensional element. Water is something that science cannot create. It's the Sophia element, like I said. So it's very interesting, you guys. And so today, of course, I wanted to play with cards a little bit to see if anything else comes up. Um, it was very interesting because and I'm going to show you guys in a minute here. But I was the hangman for a spiritual card came up, hangman, and then courage came up with it, like it got stuck to it. So I was called to read a little bit of spiritual meaning of hangman. What does it mean? It came clarified with as a spiritual meaning, a four of spirit, which came out last time. That's four of fire. Okay, so that's stability of fire element. Okay, so that's that. And then a lot of water came. What brother water came? So that's your emotional sort of that's your first stage of going in order to rebalance your emotional state. Okay. And then faith, which is six of water, came out. That's faith. This is that little circle that I was talking about, you in the center. Okay. And then 10 of water came out, which is fountain of love. All right. On the bottom of the deck was form again, which is one of earth. So I'm going to read a little bit of spiritual meaning. Um, in the time of, it is time to retreat, withdraw, and surrender to quietude. When the eternal waters are stilled, you can see and hear your deep eternal self, which is your own truth. Through meditative contemplation, you will arrive at truth. Your glorious nature is revealed when the clear waters of your mind cease to be disturbed by rippling thoughts. This is a time of voluntarily withdrawal. Re-enter the world only when you know you have received answers. Do not push or agitate by the whims of, do not be pushed or agitated by the whims of others. And I'm going to read a little bit of esoteric qualities. Sorry, you guys, I don't have my glasses on. All right, so astrological attribution is water, the reflective principle. Okay. Um, the essence is the return to the sea of life, the womb of all being. Intelligence, the stable intelligence, the original intellect, the deep mind, which is, was, and ever shall be. The veil, thoughts that ripple across the mind's surface are the whole of the truth. Mystery, in losing yourself, you find yourself. Ramus, you said, Lily, you mentioned before the North and South Pole of cosmic water transformation. That I will kind of have to go in some other day, Ramus. But you guys know that with the water, right, on the north side of the planet, I don't know what else to say. It's gonna go counterclock and on or the other way, and then on south, it's gonna go the other way. Like when you flush the toilet, it's gonna go different ways. So there's a center of water point somewhere to where it splits in the energy. Okay, here because we're in duality, and water, even though it's multidimensional, is still in duality. So the only thing is the flow that changes. Okay, but it never comes out of its element. Um, oh, um, there was something else that I wanted to. So, I guess I will just leave it at that for now. For my clarifiers, it was very interesting because the first thing came out, it's control, and it came out upside down. It flipped literally upside down. So to me, it means we have to let go of some kind of control in order to sort of allow us to operate on fully on in being able to access all this energy that is available to us. So there is the control, okay, the control and letting go and allowing to the flow. Because the other thing that came out also upside down immediately after that, but the two cards that covered the sorrow again, and it came out of upside down. So again, to me, it's kind of like see, and then hangman is upside down. So these are the elements that we are sort of letting go. Okay. So in order to find the self, we have to let go the self. So things like control, sorrow, and victim feel, like I mentioned, those things do not have sort of, they do not have, the frequency is not there. So that's why know how people say the timelines are shifting. You may hear some people talk out there in alternative media about timelines shifting. So this is just the frequency. What frequency? You frequency jumping within your own body. So that's how you can frequency jump, so to speak. And then it came out card 21, which is the world in a regular deck, and it was stuck to the sorrow behind. And then so it's completing that cycle is what we have to do it. And then again, we have to do it individually in order, each and every one of us, in order to contribute to that collective field quantum leap. We cannot enter those gates of heaven or enter those frequency by piggybacking on somebody else's frequency. A healer, a pastor, a monk, a prayer leader, nobody can, and you can't piggyback. You have to get to through the gates of heaven, like through the eye of the needle. Teresa finally remember. So, and this is silence again. And this is card 17. This is a star. And this is in a lot of cards, this is a healing. This is also the representation of Aquarius. So this is also represents an Aquarian age. And this is represents a quantum leap as well, because this is water. You know, remember how a star card, there's moon and she is pouring, a woman pouring water into the lake. Okay. So, and that's uh, between so this is your internal waters. So this is why it's healing your internal waters. And so, and then flew out kind of after all this card success, and here we are, success in us moving forward and making that quantum leap. So this is why I said there's going to be a time, for years I was talking about that the direct disclosure is going to come in which way, to where everything is going to be like, imagine, like I mentioned, you guys, once the military law, and this is why a lot of people were talking about that, oh, military is going to take over, but military has to take over in order to restore the law of the land, because we don't have that. And this is, I mean, this basically, our Constitution in United States have been subverted. And our Constitution right now is being used against us as a weapon, as a weapon. So Innocence, which is card 19, was at the bottom, and then I actually felt like I need to see what else is going to come up, and the dream came out again, which is again 6 of water, and this is so dream time. Okay, so duality again here comes out for a spiritual, in a spiritual sense, the male female, that's duality for me. So you guys, I think for us, we kind of gonna start see that this direct disclosure is gonna come sort of gently, and it's gonna let like a like like right now I have a tree. It's a beautiful peach tree that has like a big branches that flower. I don't know what the name of it, but it's always peach, and it has like leaves are there all the time, and then the flowers come on the end, and then they disappear, and the little seeds there, and then those seeds just turn back into flowers again, and they're just starting to come up back into, I saw a couple of flowers already popping out, and then like grapes, a bunch of flowers, and they're kind of like grapes. And so it's kind of like that in the same way. Our awareness is comes out like flowering in a way, but when it does on a collective consciousness, those of us that individually vibrating on that level, this is why it's been predicted by Native Americans that it's the tribe coming together, and there is 7 different level of heavenly frequency that are here present. And so, and this is why when we operate on those angelic frequencies, right? Instead of uh, submitting to the tricks and the teachings, occult teachings are all satanic. It's just what it is. And how many occultists are out? It's all the trick of the devil. All the trick of the devil. So anyway, I've touched on a lot of subjects today, you guys. Oh, I did. But anyway, hopefully I made some sense. Any questions, you guys? Um, I don't know, for some reason, even my battery is not working well. So I don't know what's going on. My computer's plugged in and it's saying my battery's going out. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna, I guess, finish it out. Um, it was really interesting. I today I didn't really have much time, but this book kind of, and the Sonian glasses thing, when that popped out this morning for me, and I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting." So I really enjoyed the subject today. And because I'm so excited that we have things like that in this reality, sort of to demonstrate for us, who we are. And so, it is exciting. And I'm so excited to be here in this be incarnated in this lifetime right now, and have the responsibility to be here on behalf of my ancestors, closing the cycles of abuse, which is horrific cycles. But because I'm here, and I know with every cell of my being, I know that I am here closing the cycles of abuse. I am closing those curses no more. These are all, none of that is allowed to be in the timeline where I am. It's up to me, it's my responsibility. And I feel so um in awe, and it feels that for my ancestors to entrust me to do this job on their behalf, and be right here in this time experiencing this and being that experiencer of the reality. um it's a privilege, to do that in here. And so that's why I do this with respect, and I thank you all so much for spending that time. I respect your time and I thank you. And I'm so glad that you guys cultivating some positive things from this lives, because they won't let me make videos. So the only way I can sort of still do this is do lives. But I guess, if I didn't talk stuff that didn't bother them, wouldn't they be cutting my lives? No, they wouldn't be. So I'm doing something right. How did Denzel Washington said, um, uh, if the devil don't bother you, you doing something wrong. If devil does bother you, you're doing something right. So I'm gonna stick with that. So if they need to cancel and cut my almost every live, so I am way hot over the I am way over the target. I'm over the target every single time. We are exciting times, Teresa, and seeing all this, and even the research they've done on the heart and the heart field and what the heart is actually. It's like they're like how it even works. It's just a muscle wrapped on itself, and that's all it is. That's heart. So it's incredible who we are, you guys, and it's just and it's a pleasure and it's a privilege to be here. So I am so grateful to each and every one of you here. So thank you so much for being here with me. Until next time. So Tuesday, the mystery school continues on Tuesday. Until then, stay wild, everyone. Mwah, mwah, mwah.